Aviation Podcast is presented as entertainment, not flight instruction. Though some participants are certified flight instructors, their comments, opinions, and discussions of flying techniques are theirs alone. None of the co-hosts or guests on this podcast are acting as your flight instructor. Please consult your own CFI for guidance on your specific flight training, aeronautical knowledge, and aircraft operation. This is the Stuck Mic AvCast, an aviation podcast about learning to fly, living to fly, and loving to fly.
This is Carl Valeri with the Stuck Mic AvCast recording here live, and we're here with Fly with Jeremy and a really great hangar event at Xavier Aviation. And the person that's actually putting this on, and actually he is the person that is knocking it out of the park when it comes to general aviation, and that's Jeremy with Fly with Jeremy. Jeremy, first of all, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. My name is Jeremy Sham, and I just started this Fly with Jeremy things, just provide some aircraft training and rental service, and we might have more citation stuff coming over too in the future.
So one of the things that I want to point out, we've done some other interviews of folks here, is the fact that you have something that's a little bit different. For those people that are truly passionate in aviation, this is the place to come, and I'll tell you why. You have great airplanes, great people, great training, and there's a lot of opportunities for people. We have a lot to unpack here. But first of all, tell us, what aircraft do you have here for those that are looking at getting into aviation?
So my first airplane I own is a Piper Aero 4, but actually cost me a lot of trouble with maintenance. And I later figured out when I started flight training, I can't really use our Aero 4 to do a flight training. Basically what aircraft I have right now is the Cessna 172. Basically, they're the most popular airplane in the world, and it's very forgivable, like for pilots who would make mistakes. And it's a great airplane. And I'm so lucky they had two 172s. They're in amazing condition. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely they are. So let's talk a little bit about those 172s and what type of equipment is in those 172s, because a lot of people, they're concerned that they're not going to be able to learn glass cockpit.
Right. So I finished my training in the 141 school, and they basically what they have is Dual G5 and a Garmin Gen X 375. So you can get a weather, ADS being and out, and traffic, and you can do 3D approaches, instrument approaches, private training. You get rid of the vacuum system, then make you safer to do your flight training. So I would say Dual G5 and the Garmin GPS with the ADS being out, that will be perfect for flight training, for flight trainers. So that's what I got. So I have two airplanes that with the Dual G5 and with the Garmin 375. That's going to be great for you to, from zero to commercial in CFI, CFII, can finish all your pilot training journey.
So as far as the pilot training journey, and of course we know a little bit about that from Aviation Careers Podcast, one of the challenges right now is you need to set yourself apart from the other applicants that are out there. There's another program that you started, and that's to help people get into a turbine aircraft.
Exactly. So before I started things, I was having a lot of hazardous issues with some bigger flight school. When I finished my private training, I trying to rent an airplane, and I can't really find a place to rent it. And the flight school kicked me out because they don't want to rent to you if you're not a student anymore. You finish your training, and then looking for some flight school nearby, they have the same reason. They said we want to keep our airplane availability for our students' priority, which is, I understand that. But some flight school, they might give you a checkout, you spend $600, and then you just fly 1 or 2 times. Then you'd never get that availability again. So that's the issues right here, because a lot of students, when the flight school advertised it, they said, oh, once you get your private license, you can fly with your friends, with a family, and go to the beach, Key West, and Augustine. But the reality is you can't fly an airplane. Nobody rent to you. You can either go to a private owner, they're not going to rent you because insurance issue, or you go to a flight school, they're not going to rent you because of availability issues. You might go to a rental company, and there's no rental company here in Lakeland. That's why I started this. I wanted some people, once they finish their private license, they can actually rent an airplane and enjoy the privilege of becoming a private license holder.
That was key what you just said, and I've been here for decades here in Lakeland, and I've told people it's really hard to find somebody that's truly promoting the passion of aviation and the ability to go places with airplanes. You're doing that because you're allowing people to rent.
Right. That's only the one part. So on top of that, even you can find an airplane to rent, basically they're really junk airplane. Okay. You might can find a flying club. You're paying $10,000 for equity buy-in, or you're paying monthly due $250 or $300, which is we charge the membership too, but we have a really pristine condition airplane, which is we want a pilot to fly the airplane they like. Also, we wanted the pilot fly with the instructor they like. So that's the second part I'm going to talk about instructors.
Speaking of instructors, if you're someone like me who's got a lot of people that want to go fly with them, it's hard to find a school that'll let you actually fly with students. But you have a really interesting program.
Right. So before I talk about these programs, I want to say I want to talk about a story that when I finished my private training. So back 2-3 years ago, that was right after the COVID-19. Actually, I was in Wuhan that time. I got really sick in the first month, and then I got recovered, luckily. And when I started my pilot trainings, they're advertising $7,000 to get your private pilot license. We know that's not true. So I end up with $14,000 bill and finished my private license, which is great because the instructor at that time was pretty good. Okay, so we have that pilot shortage things right after COVID. So that means a lot of experienced instructor left because the flight school, that's the place they just asking for training for hours. They're not really asking for something else. So you can't really expect that someone just come here for hours and they find a job, they will kick you out right away. They will leave you right away. So you can't really get a proper training there. So I was lucky because I started 2021 and get all my training down with experienced instructor. But after that, when I continued my instrument training with 141 school, that was a disaster. So I can't really get the airplane availability. I'm being swap change instructor for 5 times. That means I'm spend maybe 5 times money because every time you're swapping instructor, they want to see where you're at and what's your progress at, and why should I let you, like you need to prove that what you did before with another instructor, which is they don't want you to prove that. They just want to give you a whole training again. So it cost me double again for instrument reading. So I was like disappointed and frustrating. Then I decided to buy my own airplane and I finished all my ratings in my own airplane. I figured out, oh, Part 61 is not bad.
Part 61 actually can be quicker than Part 141 for just the reason that you talked about. Now, here's something else too, is the fact that that's terrific. I think that's awesome what you're doing. But if you are an instructor and you're looking to teach and want to bring students in because you're having the same problems, what type of programs do you have here?
So for program I have, it's for independent CFI program. So what I heard and what I know so far, so I pay all flight training out of pocket, but I know a lot of people are paying from NOM to getting loan from the DAP. So people get out of CFI program, they finish the CFI with 100K, 130K in DAP. You know how crazy it is right now because some people, they can't even finish their private license with over 100 hours, they can't finish the solo sometimes. So they spend maybe 130K to get all the license. So imagine if you just get out of flight school and you are 130K in debt, and how can you afford it? If you go to the flight school, become an instructor being paid $20 per hour, you can't even make a living. So right now, average hours they get for the flight school probably around 25 to 35 hours. So imagine you can only get $2,000, $3,000 paycheck. Okay, so what I built this independent CFI program is I think the experienced independent CFI, they deserve something better. What they really need is a really nice airplane, is really good facility, good office, and a good assistant. We share the same Fly as Schedule Pro system. We have the training home, have the syllabus, we have the 141 standard, but you are actually getting Part 61 flexibility of the training course. So we can personalize, customize the students' flight training course. So our independent CFA program, basically we offer the whole space. We have the airplane you can use for instructing your own students, which is you're going to take care of your student because that's a student you bring over. And you don't need to put $500,000 to get this fantastic airplane and hangar and leasing and commercial insurance. That's the thing gonna kill you. If you start your own business as an independent CFI, there's so much things. But here, you don't need to spend that much money. I provide everything for you.
So to talk about the facilities, I mean, that is another part of this piece of the pie that people don't realize. This is much different than most flight schools.
It is.
Tell us how it's different.
So it is different because we have really, really nice hangar. We have really, really nice tie-down places, and we have detailing service team right next door. They're doing the airplane cleaning, detailing ceremony, and then they had to do the polishing for me. So our airplane, so we all know that if something looks nice, they're not going to be too bad on the interior. Some people, some airplane that looks really junk on the outside, their interior not going to be good. So we make our airplane really good outside and inside. And we want to make things right in the first point. So the moment I get an airplane, basically I have the fully control of airplane because I own the airplane. I have some co-owner or some investor, but I have the fully control. I am the one who purchased the airplane. I'm not leasing some airplane. Just wanna, thinking about the leasing minimum every month, thinking about keep the airplane flying, even if the airplane is not that good condition. We want the students to feel safe to fly, not just airworthiness. I want them to feel like, oh, this airplane, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling safe, I want to fly it. If they said, I'm not feeling good with this airplane, I will stop flying that. I'll let a mechanic look at it, I will fix it. So, because they're my babies, okay? I got this airplane by myself. We drive 9 hours to Alabama, we drive 9 hours to Beacon County to North Carolina. So actually, we bought everything. So I know exactly what this airplane is and the condition is. I trust them. So that's one of the reasons as far as things. I want a student's instructor fly the airplane they trust. And I want a student flying instructor they trust. So that's what will make things more smoother, because we, as a CFI, we all know the first lesson we should learn is effective communication is if you fly with somebody you don't like, how you establish that effective communication. Then how you can improve your learning process if you don't like this one in the cockpit. In flight school, most of flight school, you don't have option.
So the other part of this too is if you're between flights, the environment is pretty incredible on the inside. So tell us a little bit about the interior in the building.
Yeah, so the interiors in the buildings, we have a really, really nice office, meeting rooms, and a coffee bar. Provide everything, coffee, just like a little, I will say a little bit fancy than an FBO, because you have a lot of private space and you have a really nice hangar. And this hangar is brand new here. I'm so lucky to get this space around these places. And we are actually the exclusive only flight school around this ramp. So basically you won't get a traffic who is on the flight school in the south side. In the north side, you can get out the traffic and go to the whole shoreline like in 5 minutes. So basically you will save, for people who don't know, you will save a lot of money on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The other part of this too is that you're going to have programs coming forward. Yeah. There's some great space inside. We're going to have safety meetings, that kind of thing. Yeah. You're going to invite me to do an aviation career seminar, that type of thing. And one of the things that I think is great is the fact that you actually really are passionate about aviation.
Yeah.
So let's back up here. How did you get into flying?
So pretty random. So I was born in a really little town overseas. Okay, I'm not really born here in America, but I have a lot of passion. But back to my country, we are not many people can really reach to the aviation person. They can't. I'm the first generation of pilot in the whole family, so you can't really have the access to an airplane because of very strictly rules in different countries, and you can't really have the connection with the pilots or aviation related people. So you don't know enough, you know nothing about aviation. So once I started my real estate business here, and then I was in Florida, I was thinking, what should I do for fun? What should I do for passion here? Then the flight school, luckily here have most of the flight school in America, and they have a lot of airplane here, a lot of advertisement here. Then I Google and I see this program pump out in Lakeland, and I joined the program. And the first couple of lessons I was terrified, but I like to challenge myself, so I overcome it. And then I become a private pilot license holders. And later I figure out there's no place to rent an airplane, so I have to buy one. And the school sucks. And I would spend so much money. So why just use my own airplane, use my own instructor I like? So I end up picking my instructor I like, and I picked the DP I like, and it went through very smooth. Yeah. So I basically control all my schedules. I finish all my license there. So that's how I continue my training at beginning. I'm not thinking about to really go to the career because I'm already 32. So it's not too old, but yeah, I don't really like to work for somebody else. So I want to start my own business. So when I get on my license, I was just thinking about to continue training because I want to be safe. When I become private pilot license holders, I want to take my family to fly. But if you go to the cloud, well, if you go into the IMC, I know a lot of people cannot survive over 30 seconds in IMC condition, which is into the cloud and bad weather. So I continue my instrument reading training. And then once I finish my instrument rating and I keep flying, already 250 hours. Why not get your commercial? So I get my commercial and I own my airplane and spend so much money in the airplane. I say, oh, wow, maybe I should get some money back. Then I continue my CFI, CFII, and turn out I feel like I enjoy the teaching. I enjoy to share all my experience to the next generation. And I think more people, they have the dream, but they don't have the path. They don't have the opportunity to have that discover flight. So I'm have a lot of discover flight with church members, with a lot of fresh beginners, with really, really low cost. I'm not making any money from it, but I just want to give them the opportunity to the airplane and to know exactly the picture of how to become a pilot.
So you're pushing that passion forward, which I think is absolutely terrific. First of all, I do want to say one thing is that you are much friendlier than most flight schools.
Yeah.
That's another part of this too. And you're probably in the top 10 in this country. I've been to a lot of flight schools.
Yeah.
Trust me. There's, when you show up, and my wife can attest to this because she's the test here. When you show up at a flight school, a lot of times they're not very welcoming. And it seems like an exclusive club. This is not. This is an inclusive club. Whoever comes in the door, you're happy to be there because you are so welcoming.
Exactly. I went through everything. So I know exactly what the student's going to went through. I know exactly what instructor they need and the student they need. They need to establish a really good communication, a trust with each other. But in a bigger flight school, you can't really build up that trust because the whole management team in the flight school, they are focus on the KPI. They are thinking they have their own system to schedule you. They will cancel your flight. They will swap your instructor without any notice. So here, basically, I care about the instructor. I care about the students. I want instructor to instructing students and pay off the debt here. And I just make money from the airplane. We know that it's really hard to make money from the airplane, but I want to keep it going. I don't know if we will make money or not, but I want to keep these things going because I have passion. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that are watching or listening to Stuck Mic AvCast, this is one of those schools I might wind up getting checked out at because I do love Jeremy. I think he's a great guy. People say, hey, I want to go fly with you, but it's always that problem of where do you find a school that's willing to work with an independent instructor? Right. But flywithjeremy.com is where you can find out more about that, and you can find some passionate instructors and people that actually hold that higher standard that you do, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Carl. And on top of that, I have a really good co-founder, which is my dog Kilo. It's a Shiba Inu. I take him fly with me to different world, of a different state like New York, Connecticut, Dallas. He's a really good co-pilot. If you are a first-time flyer, you're anxiety, you are feeling you're worried about flying, you can just come fly with me and Kilo. I'll put a Kilo on the back seat, and so he can comfort you, make your flying really, really enjoyable. Because we all know the first flying should be enjoyable. Then you can start your training journey. If you don't enjoy your first flight, how you can start it? Yeah, so we want to make sure everything is happy because flying things should be enjoyable, not just stressful. Yeah.
Absolutely. Flying should be enjoyable. Kilo's just such a wonderful dog. I love dogs and I love hanging out with him. Just a sweet person or dog, I should say, to get along with. And he really is somebody that promotes your school. That's for sure. So the other thing I do want to mention before we forget is the people that are interested in the career, you can go from zero to hero. In other words, zero to actually commercial pilot. Plus you have another program that's going on with a citation. Yeah,
exactly. So we all know that here is a serious problem here because a lot of people, they get into aviation because they get wrong information. They thought it's all the markets. They get wrong the judgment about the market. So once they finish about because I don't blame this, because this is economic. This is a flight school things. But once they get off with the CFI they can't really find a job. You know, for now, you probably cannot find a CFI or II job right now. It's tough right now. If you want to go to an airline, regional airline, you might need 1,500 or 2,000, even more than that, to find a really, really good job. So you need more connection, networking. You need to listen more podcasts like what Carl is doing. So to get a more resource. So for this instructors, if they can get an SIC endorsement in a citation, that we were going to launch that program soon. Then you can do a one-day program. It's going to cost you $5,000, $6,000, but it's going to be one day and finish your SIC endorsement and even a type rating. Okay, we have a really good partnership with someone who works for Simcom before, which is a jet training center, very famous one, a professional pilot, professional instructor for the citation. If this course coming out, it's going to be very, very very, very promising, especially for pilots at CFI who just want to add something in their profile, in their resume. So they can come here one day and finish their citation SAC type rating, endorsement things, and then they can put that in their logbook, in that certificate, and they can find a job, maybe. I'm not guaranteed that, but you can definitely increase your value. And I do have some students finish that course last year. I did a couple of students last year, and they find a job as an original jet or Part 135. Yeah.
To add to that statement, it really does help to have that SIC type rating or to have some jet time, and it will put you at the front of the pack as far as jobs are concerned. So you can check out all that at flywithjeremy.com. Anything else you want to tell us about Fly with Jeremy? We could talk forever because this is a beautiful hangar, and this is a great school. I'm actually very excited about you here because I've been saying someone needs to do this here in Lakeland, and you're making it happen.
Thank you.
So flywithjeremy.com, flywithjeremy.com. They can reach out to you. And again, you are somebody who's really passionate, but not just passionate. You have the knowledge to make something like this work. And that's what I really appreciate. So make sure you go check that out, flywithjeremy.com. If you want to listen to this interview, you can listen all year long at liveatc.net/SNF. Of course, we support Sun and Fun through our volunteering with Sun and Fun Radio here at the Stuck Mic AvCast. This is Carl Valeri reporting for the Stuck Mic AvCast right here at Xavier Aviation's hangar with flywithjeremy.com and also Kilo, which is wandering around. We're going to say hi to them. So have a safe flying out there, and we'll talk to you in the next episode.